Greetings, and welcome back to another episode of 1320 Time Stream. We're in the wavespell of the Yellow Warrior on our 6th day today, and we are the Red Rhythmic Dragon. Let's check out some of those details. Okay, and so it's also going to be located, this is for our breath here, it's going to be located in our right shoulder and our right pointy finger on the in-breath. Begin. Okay, well, let's see. Rhythmic Dragon. So we're in that second phase of taking command. With that, just after the overtone in the rhythmic tone. So we're bringing that equalization into the field. We've done the identification of all the things from the purpose to the form it will all take. And now we're kind of that form that's kind of a little bit embodied. We're taking hold of that, taking the reins, and we're guiding it. So, we're in that aspect now of organization. So it's like, well, what are we going to do with that? And so now we're organizing those energies to bring it to that next level of formulation, which is in that next corridor in a number of days. So also, in that kind of magic portal kind of energy where these days all represent the 7 last moons before 2012, as well as the 7 chakras, 2012 itself, and then the 7 mystic moons, which is also the 7 chakras as well. And today, which actually represents the portal to kind of like the prophetic end date 2012 itself, or 2013, which is actually 1320 backwards, which is this system that we're actually utilizing currently. So today is a day to really jump into that portal and to really go in there and to see what things are available for you, as well as this. I've been seeing today some of the energy that have been rising, and the way it kind of looks, all of it comes together, it kind of looks like this. Because we're on the warrior wave spell, and because we're on the dragon specifically, and because it's this portal of like 2012, it's kind of like showing us like what still is there that we have to hold space for to help come into being. We're organizing those energies, and we're equalizing and bringing balance to the entire structure of existence in order to nurture. And the dragon is fierce nurturing, so there may be an aspect of battle to this. There may be something a little intense that you have to hold space for, kind of like a fight for your rights kind of energy or attitude, which is embedded in this, where it may be a little more tooth and nail, or as far as the dragon is concerned, fang and claw. And so there's also an aspect of like, because we're beginning the 11th 20 run today, the dragon also simplifies the starting of a whole new cycle. And while we're kind of like almost in the middle of this cycle, we're also beginning something in the direct middle. So we can kind of feel that like, okay, we're simultaneously in the middle of something and we're simultaneously beginning something. Witness the paradox. And so in that beginning energy, it's okay to kind of feel like, oh, what do I do? Or like, oh, there's really like not that much momentum. And that's okay, because the dragon is also kind of representing the primordial soup. It's also known as the primordial mother, right? There's many archetypes, and these ones, this one here, the dragon, is very primal. And so today it can also be like that primal soup of energy that the things which become those more embodied purposes begin to define themselves from. And so we're also taking that kind of primordial soup and organizing it and going through it and seeing what's there. Because there are other momentums that are also part of this wave that may have not been at the forefront when we started the warrior wave spell, that may actually like like undulating under waves in like a current in a river have been under before but are now on the surface for us to realize. And so it's good to know this when we're actually taking a deeper look into the dynamic of something like a wave spell, is that this is but one cycle. And the system that we're dealing with is a whole number of cycles. And so to think it only works one way is just not what it is. It works in many different ways. So the reason I'm saying this is because when we begin to see that like there's things in the foreground, there's things in the background, there's things in the strong current, things in the soft current, and things that may have been planted or we may have been working on for ages may come to pass in the midst of things that we've been working on for a short time, kind of thing. And so we have these dynamics of energy as waveforms, and the dragon, also being the carrier of memory, is also kind of jogging our ancient memory, our genetic memory, taking a look into, you know, our junk DNA, things like that, because this is that precursor. The dragon is the invitation into looking deeper into what we actually really are, and what are the planetary energies and the planetary issues, say, inhibiting or needing nurturing or needing, you know, to get in. And while I don't really promote fighting, it's kind of a fight for your rights energy today. There may be things that need support, and there may be older energies that are still kind of in the like archaic or dark ages kind of mentality that are inhibiting them from coming to pass. So there may be a display of like fang and claw in order to nurture those. As the dragon is also like the nurturing mother. It's also like the entry into the womb. And so we have that energy as well. Yeah. So it's kind of a very wide variety. And it's really coming down to like really open yourself up, really look at what needs your attention, what needs you to kind of fight for it. You know, and the dragon takes on many different forms, but it feels really appropriate to kind of go into that because we're in the warrior wave spell. It's like safe to feel, safe to explore in your mind. How is this a good fight? Maybe you're nonviolent. Maybe fighting scares you. Maybe you have thoughts of this or that or the other. This wave spell is a really good wave spell to really explore those thoughts, really explore the shadows in those thoughts, explore your feelings, explore how that fight that you may have is actually a shadow part of your heart that wants to nurture and keep something safe. Maybe you are an unaggressive person, but maybe there's something that you have or other people that feel repressed and that need some attention, and it rises up in you, a frustration and anger, a wish that you could do something, a wish that you could show someone else they were wrong, something like that. And so today is one of those good days to really go into that and really just explore that, you know, for what it's worth. And of course, always make decisions in a common level manner if possible. Because, you know, as these energies, like we can consciously observe these energies, but on a global scale, these energies are going to be affecting beings and people and like global issues regardless of our wisdom of them. And so these frequencies can take on a very real aspect which can carry deep traumas. When we have whole cultures that are unconsciously in the ebb and flow of these energies, then some of their shadow sides can come out in a pretty heinous way. So I would say that these videos and these kind of practices help us go into some of those shadows in a conscious way, where we can recognize, hey, look, there's this presence here. It may not be comfortable, but if I avoid it, then it's going to come out, because we're a collective consciousness. If we avoid it, then it's going to come out in a different way, most likely to the next kind of capacitor, kind of like I see all of us as a collective consciousness, and each one of us are like nodes that this energy moves through as we're processing something collectively. And so the next person who's open to these kind of things, maybe they're unconscious and open to them. And so all of a sudden they're reacting in such a way unconsciously, instead of a person being able to take responsibility for it, say, hey, I'll work with this energy in a conscious way and accept its shadows and accept its positive sides too. And that way we can help work out some of the details and sections that have to get like re-imaged in our collective consciousness, because that is one of the way that collective consciousness works. That like there's a collective imprint, like a hologenetic energy, and that holographic genetic imprint is going to be within that collective matrix. And so it transforms and is consistently received and transmitted by individuals and groups of individuals and whole portions of the collective consciousness without them even knowing. The thoughts you have on the inside actually go towards a large part of working out these kind of unconscious collective issues and our own interdimensional patterning and how we show up in the world in a good way. So I'll leave us with that and stay tuned for the affirmation.